From our television studios on Slaughterhouse Road in Belize City, welcome to Love Television's Evening News for Monday, November 7th, 2016. Tonight, our stories range from stories of fire investigations to the working hours of police officers and from criminal prosecution in the Lands Department to the annual Youth Awards. We'll get started with a look at the top stories for today. Multiple structures charred by weekend fires on the north side of Belize City. Police in Western Belize seeks gunman in the weekend shooting. Is a 12-hour shift for police officers just too much? We'll tell you what some officers are saying and even members of the public. Will government get back their monies from Vega and Pitts? We asked PUP's shadow cabinet minister for his input. We will also take a look back at the Penner investigation and how it resembles this current land scandal. And U.S. National Deshaun Morris sends message to parents and communities of Belize. The annual Youth Awards was held on Friday night at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts in Belize City, where over 15 awards were issued to young persons for achievements in sectors such as agriculture, education, innovation, and media, among others. The Minister of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, Patrick Faber, was a speaker at the event and spoke mostly on the evident progress being made by young persons in Belize.
Since 2008, we have been able to steadily increase the visibility of the Department of Youth Service. The Youth Gala that is here is one such event, one signature event, if you will. And I'll tell you that it was mentioned earlier that this Youth Award was the brainchild of my predecessor in the Collet area and also a former Minister of Youth Development, Mrs. Faith Stewart Bob. Is she here? She's not here tonight. But that idea, of course, went dormant for a while and it was revived after some years. And I will tell you that the success that we're seeing tonight with this gala, with this Youth Award, is something that came eventually after the investments of many, because the first few left some things to be desired, but now we're at the level where we could have on Love TV, we could have international guest speakers, we can have a wide variety of our young people being honored because they're doing great things. I sat down and I watched some videos and so on that they showed me yesterday at the DYS about the work that so many of our young people are engaged in. And I was amazed and blown away. I think the only thing we need to continue doing, or we need to do differently, is to promote the work of the DYS, because a lot is going on there. The DYS, of course, promotes the work and the engagement of the young people across this country from north to south and from east to west. And that is also tremendous. There are some young people doing things that you would not imagine. I'm reminded of our mistress of ceremonies tonight, Tarun, and it's not because Tarun said that I'm the handsomest minister. I really believe in Tarun. I saw Mr. Morning. I saw Mr. Mornings present as well. These are just two examples of young people who we can say have blossomed tremendously. Mucho talent in Belize, especially with the young people. My friends, we're here to celebrate them tonight. Let's give all of them, those who have been awarded so far, those honorable mentions, and in fact those who are yet to come, a wonderful applause for all their efforts. And we want them to keep on doing what they're doing because it is a great, great effort.
Guest speaker for the occasion was American National Deshaun Jawi Morris, who was a reformed gang leader. He came in last Thursday, and during his presentation, he spoke of what it means to him for being here in Belize, speaking of his experiences.
Being here today is probably just in my wildest dreams that I felt that my story could travel internationally. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier, that I understand that struggle is universal. So whether I'm from Belize or not, I understand struggle, I understand it well. I've understood it at some very deep, dark levels. I've experienced and seen darkness in some of the deepest places where I'm from. and I survived much of that. And these are the type of testimonies that we need. We need more of these testimonies for those who have survived these wars, those who have survived the struggle, those who have persevered through their hardships, to in turn give those testimonies back to create hope. That's probably one of the biggest problems why youngsters now are just not motivated. They have no motivation. They have no inspiration. Nothing before them excites them or motivates them. And that's where you open the door for all of the garbage, all of the filth, the negative and the bad things to creep in. And that's what takes hold of your babies. You have to fight for your children every single day. You have to fight for your children every single day. So again, Ms. Deborah, I'm like just beyond thrilled that you brought me here. It's a highlight for me. What you guys may not understand is that just as much as my coming here and being of some service to you guys, is you guys been a service to us as well. It shows us back in the States that regardless of what you've been through, how down you've been, you know, I've been to prison quite a few times. They've tried to send me away for life a couple of times. And there was times where people counted me out. It was times where people thought that I could not be anything other than what I was. And this shows that if you continue to stay a course, you continue to work and sacrifice to make changes in your life, that it can happen. You know, back in the States, they have a thing when you're criminals, convicts, inmates, they feel that you can never change. That's why the recidivism rate is so high in America. And they think that you can't change. They say a tiger can never change his stripes. And I'm living testimony and living proof that you can change your life. My priorities are a lot different today than they was before. My priorities consist of those 4 babies in my household. Those priorities consist of me putting them first before I make decisions. Unlearning and relearning things. I'm 35 years old and I'm unlearning and trying to relearn many things as a teenager should. Even prior to that, as adolescence. And that goes into what change is about. I'll end with this note that most times when people are uncomfortable, that's when most people change. And I've been asked quite a bit through my interviews with the morning show, different radio stations. They asked me, well, what was the defining moment? What was the defining time that caused or created this change in your life? And I tell them, you know, time. I've been through enough. Enough is enough. You know, you can get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
The categories included Environmental, awards the Innovation Award, Media, Enterprise, Arts and Culture, the Youth Club Award, the Differently Abled Award, Youth in Agriculture Award, the Youth in Sports, as well as the CARICOM Youth Ambassadors Award and the Pace Setters Award, with the biggest of the night being the Youth Ministers Award. The weekend got off to a hot start on Friday night as fire officials were called to the first of 2 fire scenes. Ingrid Fernandez has that story.
Friday night saw emergency calls going into the 911 hotline when a fire began in the Kings Park area of Belize City. Assistant Superintendent of Police and Acting Officer in charge of Precinct 3, Anaceli Petillo, spoke to Love News on what they encountered when they responded to the calls on First Street.
CIB Precinct 3 personnel visited number 22 First Street, Kings Park area, Belize City, where they observed a 35 feet by 40 feet cement with zinc bungalow house completely destroyed by fire. The house was occupied by Rene Ayuso, his wife Valerie Valerio, and his mother, Maria Ayuso. The house and all its contents were completely destroyed by fire. At the time the scene was visited, no accelerant was found.
At the time the fire erupted, only the owner's mother and son were in the house. We spoke with the distraught occupant, Maria Ayuso, who told us what happened when she first found out about the fire.
El viernes en la noche para amanecer sábado.
Friday night, on Saturday at 11:30, the fire started. I was lying down with my grandson. My grandson is 13 years old. I heard noises. I was thinking that they were throwing stones at the house. It was like pop, 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 as if it was a shooting. Then I said, I wonder who is throwing stones at the house. Then at the same time, I went out. When I went out, the door to this room was on fire, and I went into the street screaming, my house is burning down, help! My neighbors Ilario and Miss Carmen came out to help me and throwing water. The firefighters, I don't know if they had called them, but they took long to come. I was out of control. I was outside and my grandson inside, and the house is already on fire. When I went in again, the fire was already dropping in the room. It almost took my son, miss. I don't know. God is great. I had already come out. I was over there standing and I remember the boy is in there. I turned back. If I did not remember, he would.
Si casi no me acuerdo, se me hubiera quemado mi muchachito.
ASP Patillo stated that there are high suspicions that the occupants of the house were sharing electricity with a neighbor, and that is part of their investigation. The loss to property was tremendous, as explained by ASP Patillo.
The value of the house is approximately $50,000 Belize currency, and its contents is a total of $10,000 Belize currency, which estimated to a total value of $60,000 Belize currency.
Ayuso is asking for public assistance to repair her house. She stated that she is very thankful for whatever people can donate to her. You can reach Maria Eugenia Ayuso at number 605-0531. Reporting for Love News, I am Ingrid Fernandez.
Early Sunday morning, the fire officials were again called out to extinguish a blaze that caused damages to 3 structures on the north side of Belize City. Ingrid Fernandez followed the story today and shared this report.
Just 2 days after a fire left a family homeless on First Street, it happened again. On Sunday morning, around 4:30, yet another fire destroyed 3 houses on Castle Street in Belize City. The fire started in a 20 by 22-story wooden structure, which was completely destroyed, and spread rapidly to the 2 adjacent cement houses, which were partially destroyed. 2 of the homes were residential homes, while the other building was a Salvation Army church. Love News visited the scene this morning, and we spoke with the owner of one of the destroyed buildings, Luis Barcelona Sr., who told us what happened.
I'm not sure what time it started, but when we wake up, we sleep now. We hear a cracking noise, crack, 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 and my girlfriend jump up. And when he jump up, we see the house next door to we, they're on blaze. And so we jump up and we grab we for we children and we run out of the house. I'm not sure what time it started, but when we run out of the house, it must be about 4:30, some minutes to 5. So I can't think about nothing else, but just grab where I can grab and run out, grab children and run out. No, because the power was still on, the electricity was still on, and maybe the spark. So we had to run out of the house with the children. Them.
How many children were in the house?
3 children and 2 adults upstairs.
You managed to take out all the children.
Yeah.
And what happened afterwards when you came out from the house?
Well, we stand up and watch the house from the next side catch fire. Then you pass over to we side. And then it take a little while for the fireman to reach here. But no, I'm not here to bash nobody. No, they did what they could with what they had, and thankfully the whole house never burned down. They managed to out it in time, so I will be thankful for that.
Fire officials have declared the blaze as an incendiary fire, but the police are yet to classify the incident as an arson investigation. It is a case that raises suspicion, as the fire victim noted that she was locked inside the house and had to find another way out when the fire started. Oren Smith of the National Fire Service spoke to us on their preliminary findings.
On arrival on the scene, we found a wooden 20 by 24 structure fully engulfed in flames. The National Fire Service got into operation to extinguish the fire. The fire originated on the wooden structure on the southwest section of that structure. The fire is classified as incendiary in nature.
There are allegations that the wooden structure was locked from the outside. Could you comment?
According to the occupant, yes. They tried to get out via the door, but it was apparently jammed. It wouldn't open, so they came out through a side window.
Kayla Reynolds, mother of two, lived in the wooden house. She and her two children were at home sleeping when the fire began. Assistant Superintendent of Police and acting officer in command of the Precinct 3 police station, Anaceli Petillo, told us what Reynolds reported to the police.
Kayla Reynolds reported that on the said date, at 4:30, she was inside her above-mentioned residence along with her two children when she was awakened by the smell of smoke and noticed that the inside of her house was on fire. So she got herself and her children outside to safety.
With the number of buildings affected, the loss to property was substantial as none of the buildings were insured. ASP Petillo tells us how much was lost.
Approximate value of the damages was $180,120 Belize currency. Also seen damage by the fire was a black in color Jaguar vehicle which had damages to the right front headlight and bumper area, and the value of the damages is unknown at this time.
10 persons were left displaced as a result of the fire on Castle Street this weekend. Fortunately, all affected families managed to come out of their houses in time and no one was hurt in the incident. ASP Petillo stated that if a person is found guilty of intentionally causing the fire, he or she could face up to life imprisonment. Reporting for Love News, I am Ingrid Fernandez.
San Ignacio police are looking for one man who they say can help them figure out who shot 33-year-old Patrick Gordon and why. Gordon was shot several times over the weekend while in the company of friends, but investigators are having difficulties extracting information from those who may have seen the shooter. Love News spoke to San Ignacio's Deputy Commander Assistant Superintendent of Police, Daniel Iche.
Saturday, 5th November 2016 at about 10:30 a.m. San Ignacio Police responded to an information of a shooting incident on Carrillo Puerto Avenue in Santa Elena Town. Investigation revealed that Patrick Gordon, 33 years, Belizean unemployed of a Santa Elena Town address, was driving his blue Toyota Corolla car on Carrillo Puerto Avenue along with two others when he was shot at. He sustained injury to the left upper part of his chest. 4 9mm expended shells were recovered from the scene, and we are seeking out one person who we believe can assist us in this investigation.
Okay, and this person, is he from the area? Is he from Cayo?
Yes, he is from within the Cayo district, but he also frequents the city.
Sir, do you have any motive as yet?
Not as yet.
Sir, the person, the victim who was shot at, is he known to police? Does he have any criminal background?
Yeah, he is known to us.
Sir, were there any witnesses to this event?
Maybe some witnesses, but we're receiving a bit of reluctance with cooperation.
From the community, from the people, from the neighbors?
Yes.
Police are asking all of those with information that can assist in their investigation to call the nearest police station. The body of a man of Hispanic descent was found on the Hummingbird Highway over the weekend. Fem Cruz has that story.
And saw the lifeless body of a Hispanic male person lying face up in a pool of blood on the middle of the highway. The body was seen with an almost amputated right foot and a broken right leg. Corporal Valdemar Romero explained more.
On Saturday, 5th November 2016, at about 10:38 p.m., acting upon information received of a road traffic accident at the entrance of Armenia Village. Upon arrival, police saw the lifeless body of a Hispanic male person lying face up in a pool of blood on the middle of the highway with multiple injuries to his body. The body was identified by his brother as Selvin Deras, Belizean laborer of Las Flores, Belmopan. It was later transported to the Western Regional Hospital morgue, where the body awaits a post-mortem. We are urging the general public if they could assist us in solving this latest hit-and-run accident. You can contact the second officer in command, Santiago Pat, at the Belmopan Police Station at 802-2222, or officer in charge of the traffic unit, Corporal Romero, at 652-5872.
This is Brother Fem Cruz reporting from the nation's capital city, Belmopan, for Love FM. Ansad.
On several occasions, comments have been made on the salaries and working conditions as well as the resources that oftentimes have proven insufficient for police officers to perform their duties. Love News has learned that while the officers attached to the Eastern Division South have recently been placed on 9-hour shifts, the powers that be in Belmopan are looking to put back the officers to 12-hour rotations. It is a long drag for officers who are on foot patrol or those who are dealing with hotspots in the city. And with that, we were asked by a couple of officers if we could look into the situation. We visited a few of the key locations around the city and spoke to several policemen and women who explained that the 12-hour shift does take a toll on them, particularly for those who are forced to commute to other districts. Grace Flowers has lived in the Rocky Road area for the last 50-plus years. She spoke with us today on her observations of the officers who are stationed near her home.
The 12 hours too long for anybody there out at the work. Because after a while, especially the night shift, the officers will get tired and get sleepy. And for their own safety, they need to focus. So I think with them changing the shift or the relief shift back as normal, that is the best thing for them to do. They hire man they up in their bed the night time, the police take liquor out here. Either right wrong, I see this tent when it rain, they blow away. The police get wet, all kind of things occur, especially when the rain. Well, ask about the hurricane, they tend to blow away. The police really take liquor out here. They need to raise the PFGS. You could get 500 on the side. I don't know why the regular officer then can't get one raise. Commissioner, please look into that. And the next thing, the briefing. A lot of the officers then talk to me and they have one problem with that half an hour briefing in the morning and when the shift finish, they have a problem with it. If they brief them in the morning, I don't think they have a brief them at night when they're going after. They could brief them the following day when they go back to the regular shift again. Then they take like 1 hour out of their time when they should at the home with their family. It's a while, it's best we stick to the 8-hour shift, because the last time when the BDF made the patrol of the police and they made the work out there, one big gun got missing. Nobody from around here never take that gun, but we around here take lick because they get and they search everybody area, block off the area and they search and the gun may end up way across the road. So please, no got them and the work there long hours, then they will get sleepy. And most natural, if you get sleepy, you have to shut your eye.
Flowers says that overall she's very much satisfied that the officers are in the area on a regular basis.
No problem with the police presence in this area because first, we couldn't even come out on the street side when the war really made it happen. Only if they do illegal things, then you have a problem with police in that area. We feel well secure that the police then they're in that area right now.
They man this area 24/7?
Yes, they man this area 24/7. We know that it stopped the criminals from coming around here because we used to have problem. With for their presence, we could live peaceful around here now. First, we couldn't even walk, go to the shop because you're here pow pow. But now, everything there to normal since Mr. Williams take over and they deal with this south side. Everybody in this neighborhood really try and communicate with the officers ever so often. I personally have a good relationship with them. If I see something that go wrong, I try to correct it and I look out for my officer.
Flowers went on to make her personal plea to the Commissioner of Police, Alan Wiley, on behalf of the officers.
Please put on better tent out here for the police because many days I watch and get wet. So now I have to come and shelter in my yard, but they can't move because if the supervisor come and see that they're on their post, they could get in a problem. I treat the officers good because only so we can get good out of them. And the set where we have the work wrong here, they try hard to get along with the people in the neighborhood. We don't have problem with them. So look out for them. We are look out for them same way.
Love News also ventured into the Supal Street area of the city and spoke with the resident on her views, not only about the working hours, but as well as her sentiment on having a constant police presence in her area.
More secure. And right now, I don't really know if any neighborhood is really safe, but with the police presence, you feel a little bit better. It's unfair for a human being to work 12 hours on a whole. That's a very long shift. After a certain amount of hours, you will need a break. So I think that 8 hours is enough.
While the police officers were unable to speak to us on record due to possible ramifications from the department, several of them spoke of their preference for the 9-hour shift, where they would work 6 consecutive days, followed by 2 days off. 3 police officers who commute from Belize City to another district told us that they would rather the 12-hour shift, where they work for 9 consecutive days, followed by 3 days off. When asked about their alternatives to commuting, we were told that the accommodations at Eastern Division North are for those attached to the precinct, and that the $300 monthly allowance would only cover bus fares for their commute. Activist Raymond Rivers and Belize City Councillor Philip Willoughby are not the best of friends. Tonight we can tell you, not only do they have opposing political views, but they are also at opposite ends of a police matter. Willoughby has filed a police complaint against Rivers, alleging that Rivers threatened him. This alleged death threat happened more than a month ago on September 20th. Today at court, Rivers told his side of the story.
The fireworks at September 20th, and when Mr. Barrow came, I signed the anti-corruption convention. Right, and Mr. Barrow waved at me at the crowd and he went in. Now Mr. Willoughby did the same thing and I hollered the same thing at him. And he pointed out at me and said, watch where I catch you. You know? But I just signed the anti-corruption convention, only that I hollered at night.
So you didn't say to him that, why you are dead?
No. It was caught on camera and like what I said, the Governor General pulled up, everybody pulled up. But that is what I hollered at Mr. Willoughby, but it was caught on camera.
So you're not afraid of what may be seen on that tape?
Exactly. It only can show the truth and the arrogance of these people in power.
Rivers was not charged for any offense, and his attorney Kareem Musa says his client is being targeted.
Or brought into a meeting with Mr. Chester Williams about a week and a half ago, was it? Nothing was told to him about any charges, so what is this about today? When I spoke with the police officer in charge yesterday, he told me nothing about this charge, you know. He told me that he was detained for disorderly conduct. Nothing in relation to Philip Willoughby.
Disorderly conduct what day?
He was saying sometime over the weekend, that's why he was detained. But was he charged with that offense either? No, he was not charged with any offense. Since then, since September 20, 2016, we know that Mr. Rivers has been very vocal against this administration on Facebook. He's a grassroots activist that is not afraid of this administration. And we know now that they're using all sorts of tactics to try to suppress those individuals that are vocal, including Mr. Giovanni Brackett, who was charged the other day with supposedly being involved in organizing the burning of tires. So it is not surprising to me that now that everything has calmed down, now that the BNTU and the government battle is now over, there's collateral damage. They're going after, they are targeting individuals like Mr. Rivers because they cannot take the heat that Mr. Rivers is bringing on them. Imagine that September 20th, this offense supposedly took place. We are now at November 7th, you know, almost 2 months for a minor charge. And even to this day, when we went before the court just now, we were informed by the police, members of the police department, that the charge was not properly framed. Imagine that it has taken them 2 months to prepare a charge sheet for this man, and even now they can't get it right, so they're asking him to come back on Wednesday. They are clearly trying to target Mr. Rivers.
Rivers' case goes back to court on Wednesday. On Thursday, November 3rd, Deshaun Jawi Morris arrived from the United States to serve as guest speaker for Friday night's Youth Awards in Belize City. His 16-minute presentation focused a lot on the needs of the young persons, as well as his mindset as a reformed gang member.
This whole situation, this issue with gangs, the inner cities, as a team effort. There's no one person or one organization that's going to fix this problem, but collectively, that's the ultimate goal, in any community. You know, back in the States, we have a saying that goes, it takes a village to raise a child. I'm not sure if that's even a statement here. You guys heard of that before. It takes a village to raise a child, and that's really where I commend Ms. Deborah the most. Just being here these past couple of days and some of the places that she's taken us and just hearing about the work that she's doing, that's a role in the team. That's a role on the team, and it's so vital because nowadays these youngsters, they don't feel like anyone cares. And if they do care, a lot of times there's compensation or there's benefits that a lot of people work off of those benefits. And when you have people that's out here that's doing things of their own time, their own volition, their own free will, that's more of what the youth need. Again, growing up, a lot of us didn't have both parents at home. A lot of us didn't even have any parents at home. So therefore, you look for surrogate parents. You look for surrogate family, and that's where that village comes into handy. Being here, looking at the issues that Belize face versus where I'm from, there's a lot of similarities. There's some things that you guys are dealing with that are not issues where we're from, but there are a lot of similarities. And I've always said that I felt that pain and struggle were universal. Things that I've gone through, I've seen those exact issues here as I've been here. And there are a few things that I've not seen. But I challenge the parents. I challenge the parents the most to involve yourselves with your children most. I have a saying that goes that if you do not invest in your children, the system will.
Morris's message was directed mostly at the parents and communities in general, where he spoke of the importance of providing security and protection of children as they are being raised.
Message here with parents that I think that there has to be a better attempt to engage, interact, and bridge gaps with the young people. That's a big part of why there's no communication taking place from the young people that feel abandoned, neglected. They feel a void, and a lot of times they're finding those voids in the streets. I always said the streets, the inner cities, the neighborhoods are a place for those that are feeling abandoned and neglected. This is where they come to receive all of that via food, clothing, shelter, camaraderie, brotherhood, sisterhood, a place of value, self-worth, and self-esteem. These are the things that we should be getting, and I say we, you, I, us. As children, we should be getting from the home. And a lot of times these youngsters are not receiving that. Then you have a child that turns to the streets for these things, basic things that we need, that we require in life. And we turn to the streets to get these things. And it seems that the parents, and this is not to place blame on any parents, but the time that they do choose to intervene, it's already too late. They say the best way to stop a cold is to stop it from the beginning. When you first start to feel that sickness coming in, when you first start to feel that scratchiness, when you first start to get the eyes tearing, that's when you intervene then. And the disconnect is so outrageous, it's so enormous now that it becomes a war between youth and adult. We know that there's danger out there. We know that there's obstacles and hurdles out there. We know that there's a lot of unfortunate situation, poverty. We know that these things exist in the world. So as our jobs as the parents, I'm a father of four. It's our job inside the household to prepare them, instill them, help them with their self-esteem, help them have self-worth, so that when they step outside of the house, they have the tools needed to combat the issues in the world. That's ultimately the goal as a parent, to prepare your child so that when they go out into the world, that they can fight those evils, they can fight those pressures, the peer pressures that these kids are dealing with. For many of us that don't have family, mothers and fathers, when we go out there, we're exposed. We're exposed to everything that the streets, the neighborhoods have to offer. And that's the biggest challenge that I have, trying to engage parents with the young people.
Morris, who is a 35-year-old father of four from New Jersey, highlighted the fact that there isn't much difference between the struggles here in Belize and the United States.
So many parents are so far removed from what's currently taking place in the street. So they're behind. It's difficult to teach a child when you're outdated. I engage with the parents. That calls for them getting more involved with what's taking place in the neighborhood, the community, the social issues, the economical issue, housing, things that's taking place in the neighborhood so you can know the challenges these youngsters are facing out here. It's one of the biggest problems that we have when we talk about gangs. Many youth join gangs for many different reasons. There's no one reason why we join gangs. But what I can tell you, though, that one of the biggest reasons we join is for a sense of belonging. A sense of belonging. And when you don't have that, especially as a child like myself, I got involved when I was 9 years old. I did not have that. That's the biggest challenge that I challenge all parents to ask themselves every day when your child leaves the house. Have I provided all of these needs for my child? It's bigger than just providing food, clothing, shelter. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than food, clothing, and shelter. Nowadays, these youngsters, they need camaraderie. They need camaraderie. They need brotherhood. They need sisterhood. A lot of us don't even know how to articulate ourselves. We don't even possess basic life skills to actually survive out there in the real world. These are things that should come from home. We always say that the home is your first teacher. Your parents are your first teachers. They're your first form of protection. And when that's not taking place inside the home, naturally what will happen is we will venture off to find it.
Morris remains in the country, making special visits to the Belize Central Prison, among other locations. He was brought into the country with special efforts by the Department of Youth Services, the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sport and Culture, the Love Foundation, and United Airlines. A 5-day training in public procurement commenced today in Belize City. This was created to benefit officials in the government ministries, state tender boards, and other agencies working in the field of public procurement. According to the project officer Ingrid Sarabo, the course will equip the public officials with the knowledge of the broader context within which national procurement policies operate and with the tools needed to develop professional procurement systems and practices.
It's purchases made by the government, by government entities, purchases of items that relate to goods and services which the government entities require to undertake their responsibilities.
Who are the participants in this workshop?
Well, this is really a very interesting group. We are very pleased to have with us participants, officers from Haiti, Bahamas, Belize, and the Dominican Republic. So we have 4 member states represented here. Officers cover over a range of areas, persons working directly in public procurement and persons working in areas related to policy development in the area of public procurement.
Now in that area, talking about policy development, what sort of policies would you hope or expect to come out of this training or further training?
Well, what we want is because we need harmonization across the region, every member state is at different stages of developing national policy to ensure that there is consistency across the region with respect to procurement. And so this is an effort to ensure that all the member states are on the same page, that they have a similar approach in the development of their policy, and that is one element of the training that will be addressed. And there are a number of interventions across the region in the area of public procurement, and the actual policy development is a specialized area. Even though it will be addressed here, the policy development is another training, another area that will be addressed through other projects.
The training course is an output for the CARA Forum EU Capacity Building Project. The training concludes on the 11th of November. Prime Minister Dean Barrow is out of the country tonight. He left today on official business to the United States of America. A release from the government press office says that PM Barrow is traveling to New York City for consultations with GOB's legal and financial advisors on various pending matters. Barrow is expected to return on November 12th. In his absence, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education Patrick Faber will be the acting Prime Minister. Over the last few months, the Belize City Municipal Airstrip has been undergoing some renovations with the aim at expanding the runway and improving its security features, including lighting, signage, and road markings. The $17 million project is near full completion and will have a runway measuring 2,900 feet wide with a parallel taxiway, as well as a new lighting system to accommodate night landings, coupled with appropriate markings and signage. Friday, November 11th has been set aside to officially inaugurate the airstrip, which will now take on the name Sir Barry Bowens Municipal Airport. The official ceremony will be hosted by the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation and the Belize Airport Authority. The monies, which were provided via the Social Security Board, also afforded the installation of an access road between Marion Jones Stadium and St. John's College, as well as the paving of the road from Marine Parade near the stadium with St. Matthews Street. The project also included the construction of a parking lot with a capacity for over 150 vehicles and a security booth and an electronic barrier system and a modern surveillance system. With thought for the environmental impact, seashore protection was also installed alongside the runway to complement the mangrove system as well as a drainage system. The now refurbished airport will allow for simultaneous takeoffs and landings, according to the release from the Belize Airport Authority. Provisions have also been made to accommodate future expansions of the airport, which now becomes the main hub for national municipal flights. A ceremony was held today in Orange Walk Town, where the Orange Walk Regional Emergency Operations Center was handed over to the officials. The construction of the center was funded by the U.S. Southern Command Humanitarian Assistance Program, HAP, at a cost of more than $500,000 American dollars. The HAP partnership works with Belize to strengthen and supplement local response and recovery efforts. This Emergency Operations Center is the first such facility in the Orange Walk District. The new facility will be used by NEMO, the Ministries of Labor, Health and Education, the Belize Defense Force, the Belize Coast Guard, and the Orange Walk District government to effectively coordinate disaster response and relief efforts. It will also enable NEMO to provide timely assistance to the people of Belize, especially those in remote areas. This project builds on the embassy's long-term disaster assistance to the government of Belize, which has reached over US dollars 10.6 million since 2006. Today, the Ministry of Health announced that it has just completed another round of external evaluation by the Global Fund and the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, and it has surpassed its targets for 2015-2016. According to the ministry, the success comes on the heels of Malaria Days in the Americas, which is observed yearly by countries in the region on November 6th. Statistics show that the Ministry of Health has reduced malaria cases by 99% from 2000 to 2015. In 2015, there were 9 locally acquired cases reported from 6 villages. Most of the districts have met requirements to be declared malaria-free. This is a vast difference from the mid-90s when malaria peaked at over 10,000 cases. This year's theme is End Malaria for Good. A number of recent fires have destroyed homes in Belize City, leaving many families homeless and 2 children dead. The National Fire Service is looking very carefully at each case, but in the effort to avoid any more loss of life, they are launching a public education campaign to share instructions on how to prevent fires and find exits. Station officer at the National Fire Service, Orrin Smith, tells us about the campaign.
We did a footage on that to indicate that adults should educate their children that matches, lighters, lighted candles, or any other heat tools are tools for adults to use and not really toys for children to play with, and they should not leave them in easy reach of children. They were advised also to have a working smoke detector in the home, as well as at least a 5-pound fire extinguisher in the home.
Are you guys looking to make that a regulation for homes in Belize?
At present, it's been an advice for public structures. Yes, it is a regulation. For family dwellers, it is right now an advice given to them to have these things within the home.
The fire department stated that from their records, most fires start from minors playing with matches or candles. Miss Garifuna 2016 was selected over the weekend in southern Belize. Paul Mahonk has the story.
7 contestants, the new Miss Garifuna Belize is 18-year-old Caitlin Rubio of Punta Gorda. Second place went to Kaylin Mejia of Dangriga, third to Sabina Solano of Hopkins, and fourth place to Avery Thomas of St. Bite. The other contestants were Denicia Aranda of Belize City, Elikai Ramirez of Georgetown, and Ernesia Dominguez of Belmopan. The contestants were judged on their individual introduction, main cultural talent presentation, clarity of answers in Garifuna, ability to dance the various Garifuna dances, and grace and poise during their onstage appearances. Judges were Aina Joseph of Belize City, Janet Morera of St. Bite, Sharon Valentine Castillo of Dangriga, Zaida Nunes Castillo of Punta Gorda, Vincent Nunes of Hopkins, Adet Garcia of Georgetown, and Morley Lopez of Belmopan. The Miss Garifuna Belize contest also included farewell appearance of outgoing Miss Garifuna Belize Ishante Petio and complimentary appearances of Miss Garifuna Barranco, Luani Rodriguez, and Miss Garifuna Chicago, Maria Matthews, as well as other entertainment showcasing Garifuna singing, music, and dances. This report is sponsored by King's Energy Uno service stations in Punta Gorda and Big Falls, Toledo, where with every $50 purchase, you get a chance to win first prize $2,000, second prize $1,000, third prize $500, and 22 other smaller prizes to be raffled on December 7, 2016. Reporting for Love News, Paul Mahone, Punta Gorda.
We rejoin Paul Mahong for a report on the very first Miss Euromay that was held this weekend as well.
5 contestants, Miss Euromay National is 49-year-old Bridget Miranda of Belize City. Second place went to 53-year-old Doreen Castillo of Dangriga, and third place to 48-year-old Rita Avila of Punta Gorda. Consolation prizes went to 44-year-old Laverne Arzu of St. Bite and 65-year-old Hilda Martinez of Hopkins. First prize was awarded $700, second $500, third $400, and 2 consolation prizes of $200 each. The contestants were judged on their introduction, individual cultural talent presentation, ability to speak correctly in Garifuna, discussion segment, and mastery in dancing Garifuna music. Judges were Zaida Castillo and Lucy Cayetano of Punta Gorda, Aina Martinez of St. Bite, and Yvonne Lino of Dangriga. The first Miss Euromay National pageant, considered as one of the major cultural events held in connection with Garifuna Settlement Day activities in Punta Gorda, was organized by Battle of the Drums Secretariat. This report is sponsored by King's Uno service stations in Punta Gorda and Big Falls and Belize Spice Farm in Golden Stream, Toledo, whose management and staff congratulate Miss Euromay National 2016, Bridget Miranda of Belize City. Reporting for Love News, Paul Mahone, Punta Gorda.
Our thought conditioner for today speaks of hope, and it is from the book entitled The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It reads, quote, "You can create anything you want, but to do that you must follow the principles of the law. Eliminate all doubt and replace it with the full expectation that you will receive what you are asking for. If you are not receiving what you are asking for, it is not the law that has failed. It means your doubt is greater than your faith." End of quote. And with that, we conclude tonight's newscast. Be sure to log on to our website at www.lovefm.com for transcripts of our news stories. We thank you for joining us. Have a safe and enjoyable evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. I am Taryn Butcher.